Good day, everyone. Welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. I'll be taking you economics and I'll be taking you through these topics.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
First and foremost, we need to talk about the meaning of economics. When we talk about economics, it has diverse of definitions given by different scholars in economics. And we're going to look at some of these definitions given by those scholars. We're going to look at few of them. Number one, we'll be talking about now we're going to be looking at each of these definitions one after the other, but we're going to take you through some of these definitions. Number one, when we talk about economics, to a layman, to an ordinary man, they look at or they define economics as frugality. What do we mean by frugality? We are talking about economizing what you have by not spending too much of what you have within your disposal at a particular period of time. Now, let's try to look at the definition given by those scholars. Number one, first of all, we are going to look at Adam Smith. We see Adam Smith as the father of economics, that is, the person that gave back to economics. He defined economics in his book, titled Wealth of Nation, as inquiry into the nation and causes of wealth of nations. Also, we also look at somebody like John Means. So John Means also look at economics as science practical of production, distribution, and wealth of nation as well. But above all, we are going to look at the general acceptable definition of economics, which is given by Professor Leon Robbins. He defined economics as a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. When you look at this definition critically, the definition encompasses. It contains so many things that we can talk about in economics. Majority of the fundamental issues that we are going to be discussing in economics are embedded in this definition. Number one, when you look at, he looked at economics as a science. You agree with me? Some people normally argue that why is economics a science? When we look at economics, we can refer to economics as a science because it adopts some scientific methods like observation and testing of some of our researches by going into the environment to look at what is happening in our environment. Also, we can also look at it in terms of scars or ends. When we look at ends, another word for ends, we can refer to it as needs, means, desires, wants, etc. Now, when we look at scarcity, scarce means we are looking at the resources available at your disposal to satisfy that your wants or that your desire. And when we look at from the definition, another ingredient in that definition also, we can also look at the issue of opportunity cost. We discover that the major problems of the society is what we talk about scarcity and choice. You discover that human wants are numerous, but the resources to satisfy them are limited. Now that takes us to the issue of that opportunity cost. You discover that a lot of people are facing with a lot of things, but for them to be able to pick one and leave the other. So that leads us to what we refer to as opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is a terms of foregone alternative. In our further explanation topics, we will dwell much about opportunity cost. Now, when we talk about this definition of economics, I hope you agree with me that the definition given by Professor Robbins is the most acceptable definition because it encompasses everything you need to know about this particular subject. Now, this one now leads us to what we talk about scope of economics. Under the scope of economics, we are going to be looking at the areas covered by this subject that we call economics. At the secondary school level, we'll be looking at those topics that are needed by the secondary school candidates that they need to cover mostly in their external exam like WAEC, NECO, and JAM. Now, so when we talk about the scope of economics, we'll be looking at those topics that needs to be taught or that needs to be learned by our candidates. Now, that one takes us to another one that we call, why do we need to study this economy? There are so many reasons why we need to study economics as a student or candidate of economics. Number one reason is that it gives you the knowledge to make a wise decisions among the numerous options. And apart from that, as an individual also, it gives you the opportunity to acquire the knowledge, to have the principles and the facts about how to solve the economic problems facing the individual, the society, and the government as a whole. Also, it also helps you as an individual to make an effective budget as an individual, as a government, and as a society at large. Next, we now be talking about that takes us to the end of that lesson. Now we'll be talking about the evaluations. Now we need to know that among all these definitions that we are talking about, but the most acceptable one that you are required as a candidate is the one to know, is the one given by Professor Robbins, which says economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce which have alternative uses. Like I said the other time, we need to understand all the ingredients in this definition. Once you understand the ingredients in this definition, you are good to go. The next one, we talk about the scope of economics, and I told you that the scope of economics cover all the areas, the topics that we need to know as a candidate or as a student of economics. That takes us to the practice questions. That's the end of our lesson.
Acing your WAEC and NECO examinations has been made easy by the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education with the Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO Candidates television program. Join seasoned teachers as they take you through these core subjects, targeting the exact syllabus of WAEC and NECO. Watch Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates through these social media platforms to access more educational content and give their feedback. Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Pass your examinations with flying colors.
This takes us to the end of the lesson. For suggestion, comments, observation, please contact us on the social media platform handles displayed on the screen. Thank you.